My name is Dale McCaskill. I'm with the Midlothian Fire Department, and I've served as the fire chief now for almost 6 years. I still remember walking into the fire station the first day and reporting to Captain Verana that I was here to, work and save lives and take on anything that came to us that day. And our training was probably not quite as intense as it is today. I was given a map book and said, "There's the ambulance, so have fun and go save lives." So early in my career, when it was difficult to see the things that we see and to get through some of the stuff that we have to deal with, there weren't very good mechanisms in place for us to demonstrate those emotions. I guess the main thing we did is we suppressed those feelings for years and years and years. And I'm a little emotionally fractured after 31 years. I don't cry when it's time to cry. I cry by myself when nobody else is around. That's difficult to explain, even to your own family. When my parents passed away, I didn't cry at the right times. My sisters and brothers cried, but I didn't. I cried in the car when some dumb cat commercial came on, and it invoked emotion that I didn't know was there. It just came out. The stigma has been in the past that we need to be the strong one. We need to be the foundation, the pillar. We can't invoke emotion, especially at the scene where we're trying to bring calmness to chaos. And so then we have a hard time bridging that gap from when do we appropriately address that emotion. For me, it was very difficult over the years to try to bridge that gap to the point that I even suffered some depression during a major change in my career. And I'm, still to this day, I don't know why that happened, because it's really not something that I can explain. So as far as changing the stigma, it starts with me and my organization. It starts with people being willing to accept the fact that they will have some emotional challenges doing what we do. It also starts in the organization has to support that process. So yes, scientific research obviously is demonstrating that we're not supposed to necessarily take on the emotional baggage of the world the way we do. So the way we help each other is sharing our experiences and being vulnerable. It's okay to let our guard down and share with another person who may be experiencing for the first time a traumatic death in the field. It's okay for us to be a little vulnerable in those moments and take them by the shoulder and walk them away and say, "How you feeling? That didn't feel right, and that's not something that we enjoy seeing, but how did that impact you?" And engaging that conversation early and not just saying it's a part of the job, suck it up and move on. A young man was riding a four-wheeler here in town on a Sunday evening and lost control of it. He was spending the night with a friend. When he lost control of it, he hit a stationary mailbox that was a brick mailbox. He had massive head trauma. When I arrived on scene, our ambulance was just pulling up. The mother of his friend who he was staying with was doing mouth-to-mouth on him after he had vomited. There was blood and brain matter on her face. It was about a half a mile from where this young man lived. So while our crews were working on him, the father and the younger brother actually drove to the scene and arrived while we were still there. Knowing that they were going to lose a child today, and to try to keep them focused on how to move forward just in that short amount of time. He wanted to call his wife at work and tell her what was going on. I didn't feel like that was the right thing to do at the time. I told him I would go get her. And the hardest thing that I've dealt with in my career is knowing the moment that I stepped into that consultation room, I'd never met her, she had never met me. Her life was perfect until the moment she walked through the door and saw me. And in that moment, I had no idea what I would say to her. I said a quick prayer. We communicated what was going on, held her hand, prayed with her, put her in my car, and I drove her to her husband. And they then emotionally processed the fact that they were losing their son. Their younger son actually played baseball with my younger son years and years and years later. She came up to me and asked me, "Do you recognize me?" And I said, "Yes, I do." And she said, "I just wanted to know how you're doing." And I said, "I'm doing fine." And I apologized to her. And she said, "Why are you apologizing?" And I said, "Well, I'll be honest with you, I've seen you around town many times in Walmart and Kroger's and different places, and when I see you, I go the other way." And she said, "Why would you do that?" And I said, "Because I don't want to be the reminder that you lost your son and I was the one that told you." And she hugged me and said, "That was never a thought that crossed my mind, but it's a thought that crosses our mind." Those are the things that we have to try to process and that we're going to be a part of. And so the Resiliency program would have given me a lot better resources to deal with that than just sitting at home or trying to avoid her in the store. When I'm talking to a new firefighter, the first thing I tell them is you have to have a heart of servitude. You have to be willing to serve others. Now with that comes some consequences, because when we serve others, we're going to share their emotional responses and their emotional experiences along the way. The only way that we can stay healthy, and I've learned this over 31 years and 25 years of marriage, is to talk, to share, to communicate, not be scared to reach out for help. The last thing that we can do is to run and hide. And I've done that in my career, to try to shelter my feelings and my emotions. And over time, that's not healthy for me, and it's not healthy for the person that's just starting this journey, because it's a wonderful journey to be able to look back over 31 years and think about the people that we've come in contact with and made an impact on is very rewarding. But there's some scars along the way that we have to let heal. I've always known that we needed to address the emotional well-being of our organization, but I really didn't know how to do that. And so the Resiliency program has given me the tools necessary now to go out and help my employees be healthy emotionally, mentally, and in the end, that will deliver a better product and a better service to our community, as well as make a healthier employee who has a better opportunity to serve a long career and retire and go to the beach somewhere and fish.